Did you wake up today to a surprise deposit in your bank account? Because for thousands of seniors, midnight brought an unexpected financial boost, and people across the country are asking the same question. Did the March surprise stimulus just hit? Reports are coming in that special payments are being deposited overnight, and many retirees and Social Security recipients are seeing extra funds appear in their accounts without warning. For seniors living on fixed incomes, even a small surprise payment can make a huge difference, covering groceries, medications, bills, or simply bringing a little breathing room this month. But here's the big question. Who is actually getting these deposits? How much are the payments? And when will the rest arrive? Some people say they've already received their money. Others are still waiting and checking their accounts every few hours, and there's a lot of confusion online about eligibility, payment dates, and whether this stimulus applies to everyone or only certain groups of seniors. In this video, we're going to break down exactly what's happening with the March surprise payments, who qualifies, how the deposits are being sent, and what you should do right now to make sure you don't miss out on money that could be headed your way. If you or someone in your family depends on Social Security, retirement benefits, or government assistance, this update could be extremely important. So before we dive in, make sure you hit that like button to help this video reach more seniors who need this information, and let's get started. All right, let's talk about what's really going on, because over the last 24 hours, something unusual has been catching the attention of retirees, Social Security beneficiaries, and financial watchers across the country. People are logging into their bank accounts early in the morning and noticing something they weren't expecting, an extra deposit showing up overnight. In many cases, the funds appeared right around midnight, which is why the phrase midnight deposits has suddenly started trending in conversations among seniors and their families. Now, before we go any further, let's clear up one important thing. When surprise payments appear, rumors spread extremely fast. Some people immediately assume it's a new stimulus program. Others think it's a mistake by the bank, and a few worry that it might even be a scam or an error that could later be reversed. That's why it's so important to slow down for a moment and look carefully at what these deposits actually are, where they're coming from, and who is most likely to receive them. For many seniors living on fixed incomes, any unexpected money showing up in their account can feel like a lifeline. Grocery prices have been rising. Utility bills have been unpredictable. Medical costs continue to add pressure on monthly budgets. So when a deposit suddenly appears, even if it's relatively modest, it immediately grabs attention because it can help cover essential expenses that might otherwise be difficult to manage. What makes this situation especially interesting is the timing. The deposits people are reporting seem to be arriving in the early hours of the day, often between midnight and the early morning banking cycles. That's not unusual for government-related payments or benefit adjustments, but the reason many people are surprised is because they weren't expecting any additional payment beyond their normal monthly benefits. This has led to a lot of speculation online. Some individuals believe these deposits are connected to benefit adjustments that were processed recently. Others think they may be related to delayed payments that were scheduled earlier, but only now finished processing through the system. And of course, there are people who believe the payments are part of a broader financial relief effort aimed at helping seniors manage rising living costs. But here's where things get really important. Not everyone is seeing these deposits, and that's creating a lot of confusion. Some retirees are opening their banking apps and finding nothing unusual at all. Meanwhile, others are reporting deposits that range from small supplemental amounts to slightly larger payments that appear separate from their usual monthly benefit. Whenever something like this happens, the biggest question quickly becomes eligibility. Who exactly qualifies? Why are some people receiving payments while others are not? And is there anything that determines whether a deposit shows up immediately or later? To understand that, we have to look at how benefit payments are processed in general. Government benefit systems often handle millions of transactions at once. Payments can move through different processing schedules depending on banking institutions, payment methods, and the type of benefit being issued. Direct deposits, for example, often appear faster than mailed payments, and different banks sometimes post transactions at different times during the night. That means two people who are technically receiving the same payment might actually see it appear in their accounts at different times, even on different days. This delay can make it seem like a special payment is only going to certain people when in reality it may simply be moving through the system in stages. Another reason these deposits might appear unexpected is because some adjustments are processed automatically. For example, when corrections are made to benefit calculations, or when certain credits or back payments are applied, the system may release funds without requiring any action from the recipient. When that happens, the deposit can look like a surprise, even though it's technically part of an existing benefit structure. Now imagine waking up, checking your bank account like you normally do, and suddenly seeing extra funds you weren't planning for. For someone living on a fixed monthly budget, that moment can be both exciting and confusing at the same time. The first reaction is often relief, followed immediately by curiosity. People want to know where the money came from and whether it's a one-time payment or something that could happen again. Families of seniors are also paying close attention. Many adult children help their parents manage finances or monitor bank accounts to make sure bills are covered and benefits arrive on time. When an unexpected deposit appears, they naturally start asking questions as well, trying to understand whether the payment is legitimate and what it means for future months. And that's exactly why conversations about these midnight deposits are spreading so quickly right now. When one person notices something unusual and mentions it to friends or family, the story travels fast. Within hours, people begin comparing notes, checking their own accounts, and sharing their experiences. But while some people are celebrating an unexpected financial boost, others are still waiting and wondering if their payment is coming later. That waiting game can be frustrating, especially when information online is incomplete or mixed with speculation. Here's the truth about situations like this. Financial systems often process large batches of payments gradually. A deposit that appears for one person today might appear for someone else tomorrow or the next day, depending on processing cycles. That's why experts usually recommend checking accounts periodically, rather than assuming a payment won't arrive at all. It's also worth mentioning that banks themselves play a role in when funds become visible. Some institutions post pending transactions immediately, while others wait until a payment fully clears before showing it in the account balance. Because of that, two people receiving the same deposit at the same time might still see it appear differently in their online banking apps. For seniors who rely on their monthly benefits to pay rent, buy groceries, or cover medication costs, timing matters a lot. Even a small delay in a deposit can affect how they plan their spending for the week. That's one of the reasons any unexpected payment immediately becomes a big topic of discussion. Another factor driving attention right now is the word stimulus. Over the past few years, stimulus payments became a familiar form of financial relief for millions of people. So whenever unexpected deposits appear, it's natural for people to wonder whether another round of relief has quietly begun. However, financial experts always caution against jumping to conclusions too quickly. Not every unexpected deposit is a new stimulus payment. Sometimes it's a correction, an adjustment, or a delayed benefit that finally reached the recipient. That doesn't mean the payment isn't real or helpful. It simply means the reason behind it might be different from what people initially assume. Still, the excitement surrounding these reports highlights something very important about financial security for seniors. Many retirees are living on tight budgets where every dollar counts. When the cost of food, utilities, and healthcare continues to fluctuate, even a modest deposit can create meaningful relief. And that's why these midnight deposits are capturing so much attention. They represent the possibility of unexpected support during a time when many seniors are carefully watching their expenses. As more people begin checking their accounts and sharing their experiences, a clearer picture will start to emerge about how widespread these payments actually are. Patterns will become easier to identify, and it will be easier to determine whether the deposits are linked to a specific program, adjustment, or payment cycle. Until then, the best thing anyone can do is stay informed and pay attention to official updates regarding benefit payments and financial assistance programs. Because if there's one thing we've learned from previous payment cycles, it's that information spreads quickly, but accurate information matters even more. And right now, thousands of people are refreshing their banking apps, watching their balances, and wondering if they might wake up tomorrow to see that same unexpected deposit appear in their account. For some, it already has. For others, the wait continues. But the big question everyone is asking right now is simple. Are these deposits just the beginning, or are they isolated payments affecting only certain groups of seniors? That's exactly what we're going to explore next. In the next part of this video, we're going to look closer at who may qualify for these surprise deposits, why certain seniors might receive them before others, and the specific signs you should check in your bank account that could indicate a payment is on the way. Because if there's one thing you definitely don't want to do right now, it's ignore a deposit that could already be moving through the system toward your account. And what we're about to explain next might answer the question thousands of seniors are asking today. Am I getting one of these midnight payments too? So let's dive deeper into the question that so many seniors and families are asking right now. Who might actually qualify for these surprise deposits? And why are some people seeing them before others? To understand that, we need to look at how retirement and benefit payments are structured behind the scenes. Many people assume that once a payment is scheduled, everyone receives it at the exact same moment. But in reality, the process is much more complicated. Government benefit systems distribute funds through massive networks of financial institutions, and those systems operate on different processing schedules. That means payments often move in waves. When a payment batch is released, it doesn't always appear in every account at the same time. Some banks process incoming deposits immediately, while others wait until the next clearing cycle. That's why someone might wake up at 6 a.m. and see the money already in their account, while someone else with a different bank may not see the same deposit until later in the day or even the following morning. For seniors who rely on direct deposit, this timing difference can make it look like only certain people are receiving payments when in reality the system is simply processing transactions gradually. Another reason deposits might appear unexpectedly is because adjustments sometimes happen automatically. For example, if there was a previous payment that was calculated slightly differently or delayed due to administrative processing, the correction may arrive later as a separate deposit. When that happens, the payment doesn't always come with a big announcement. Instead, it simply shows up in the account. Imagine opening your banking app and seeing a transaction labeled as a benefit payment or treasury deposit that you didn't anticipate. That's the moment many seniors are describing right now. At first, there's confusion, then there's excitement, and then comes the big question. Is this a one-time surprise, or is it part of something larger? That uncertainty is exactly why conversations about these deposits are spreading so quickly across communities and online discussions. Seniors are calling friends, texting family members, and comparing notes with neighbors to see if anyone else received the same thing. Some people report small supplemental deposits that look like adjustments. Others claim their deposits were slightly larger than their usual payment. And of course, many people say they're still waiting to see if anything appears in their account at all. When situations like this unfold, financial experts often remind people to keep a close eye on the description attached to the deposit. The label attached to a transaction can provide clues about where the payment originated. In many cases, deposits connected to government benefits are clearly identified with specific payment codes or treasury references. Those small details can help determine whether the money is a legitimate payment, an adjustment, or simply a delayed benefit finally arriving. Another important thing to understand is that eligibility for certain payments can depend on multiple factors. Income thresholds, program enrollment, and the type of benefits a person receives can all influence whether an additional payment appears. Two retirees living in the same neighborhood might receive completely different deposit amounts depending on their benefit structure. This is why the situation can feel confusing. There isn't always a single explanation that applies to everyone. But one thing is very clear. Seniors are paying close attention right now because financial stability matters more than ever. Rising living costs have forced many retirees to monitor their budgets carefully. Even a small, unexpected payment can help cover groceries, prescription medications, transportation costs, or utility bills. For someone living on a fixed income, that extra support, even if it arrives without warning, can make a real difference. And that's exactly why these midnight deposits have captured so much interest. Think about the emotional side of it for a moment. Many seniors remember times when finances were more predictable, prices were lower, monthly budgets were easier to manage, and retirement income stretched a little further. Today, things can feel different. Expenses fluctuate, and every financial update becomes important. So when a deposit suddenly appears overnight, it's not just about the money itself. It's about the sense of relief it can bring. For some people, that relief means being able to buy groceries without worrying about the cost of the next bill. For others, it might mean finally filling a prescription they've been postponing or catching up on a utility payment that was approaching its due date. Moments like that matter. They remind people how important reliable financial systems are, especially for those who depend on benefits as their primary source of income. Another interesting aspect of these reports is how quickly information spreads in today's digital world. Years ago, someone might receive an unexpected payment and only mention it to a close friend or family member. Now, people share updates instantly through social media, online communities, and messaging groups. Within hours, thousands of people can hear about something that started with just a few individuals noticing a deposit. That rapid spread of information can be helpful because it encourages people to check their own accounts and stay aware of financial updates. But it can also lead to confusion if rumors start moving faster than verified details. That's why it's always important to approach these situations with a balanced perspective. Yes, it's exciting when extra money appears in an account. Yes, it's worth paying attention to. But it's also wise to wait for clear confirmation about the reason behind the payment before making assumptions about future deposits. Financial systems sometimes release corrections, adjustments, or supplemental payments that happen only once. Other times, those deposits may be part of a larger pattern that becomes clearer over the following weeks. Right now, many seniors are in that waiting period where the picture is still developing. Some have already seen deposits appear. Others are refreshing their bank apps several times a day just to be sure they don't miss anything. And families are checking in with parents and grandparents to ask the same simple question: did anything show up in your account today? That question alone tells you how much attention these midnight deposits are getting. Because when unexpected financial activity appears, people naturally want to understand it. They want to know whether it's safe to rely on the money, whether more payments could arrive later, and whether they should expect any official announcements explaining the situation. For now, the most practical thing anyone can do is monitor their account activity carefully. If a deposit appears, take a moment to review the details of the transaction. Look at the description, the date, and the amount. Those small pieces of information can help clarify what kind of payment it is. If nothing appears yet, it doesn't necessarily mean it won't arrive later. Payment cycles sometimes take time to move through the banking system. Patience can be frustrating, especially when you hear that other people already received something. But financial processing often happens in stages, and timing differences are extremely common. Over the next several days, the picture will likely become clearer as more people report their experiences. Patterns will begin to emerge. Experts will analyze the payment descriptions and timing, and eventually, we'll have a better understanding of exactly why these deposits appeared and who they affect. Until then, the most important thing is staying informed and staying alert. Check your account periodically. Pay attention to official payment notifications, and keep track of any deposit that appears unexpectedly. Because sometimes the most surprising financial updates happen when people least expect them, like a quiet deposit arriving right in the middle of the night. For many seniors, that moment of opening their banking app and seeing extra funds can feel like a small but meaningful victory. It's a reminder that even in uncertain financial times, support can sometimes appear when it's needed most. And if these midnight deposits continue appearing in more accounts over the coming days, the conversation around them will only grow louder, which means thousands of people will continue asking the same question tomorrow morning when they check their balance. Did the payment arrive yet? If you found this update helpful and want to stay informed about important financial developments affecting seniors and retirees, make sure you stay connected with this channel. And before you go, take a second to tap the like button. Doing that helps more seniors and families see this information, which could help someone discover a payment they didn't even realize had already reached their account. Thanks for watching, stay safe, stay informed, and we'll keep you updated with any new developments as soon as they happen.